Hello, my name is Sahar Mustafah, and I'm the author of The Beauty of Your Face. I really appreciate being invited to the Poetry Project's house party. I'll be reading an excerpt from the first chapter of my novel, in which my main character, Afaf Rahman, is 10 years old in 1976. She doesn't answer her mother the first time she calls her name. Afaf! She keeps jumping on her bed. Afaf, where are you? Majid, her younger brother, is jumping opposite her on a twin bed. He freezes and cranes his head over the tune of Aquarius. The two of them play it relentlessly on a second-hand record player. A garage sale to Afaf's father is yet another novelty of American life. The first time he discovered one down their block, he told her mother, "These Americans sell their own belongings for profit." In the spring and summer, Afaf and Majid accompany Baba on strolls up and down the alleyways of their neighborhood, searching for open garages, the white owners sitting on lawn chairs, drinking beers and tossing their cigarette butts onto the gravel, haggling with her father. Their wives wear terry cloth shorts and halter tops, stark white tan lines cutting through sunburned skin. Afaf can't tear her eyes away from their sagging breasts. On their last trip, Baba purchased a record player from a man with an unkempt beard and glasses like John Lennon's, and a desk lamp for $1.50, though Afaf's family did not own a desk in their cramped apartment. They do their homework on a chipped coffee table in the front room that her mother wipes down multiple times a day. Mama had turned her nose up at the record player. "Masari ala fadi," she scolds, "a waste of money." The previous owner had thrown in an odd selection of albums, the Shangri-Las, Pat Boone, and Sam Cooke. Afaf and Majid have so far memorized every verse of Hair, her favorite record. Baba listens to Leonard Cohen, improving his English through songs. Suzanne sounds like a bottomless well to Afaf. On Sunday mornings, he strums his oud and sings ballads by his favorite Egyptian lute player, Farid al-Atrash. Not as unhappy as Leonard, Baba declares, as though both famous musicians are close friends of his. Afaf! The third time Mama calls her name, it's a sure sign of something serious. Afaf hops onto the brown shag carpeting and bolts down the narrow hallway of the apartment. Majid sliding behind her in his tube socks across the wooden floor Mama mops every day. Her mother's on the phone, the yellow cord snaking around her fingers. A pot of fava bean stew boils on the stove, and a stack of dishes has been brought down from the cupboard, but Mama hasn't seen them yet. Something's disrupted her mother's dinner activity. She's talking in frantic Arabic on the phone. Afaf guesses it's Khalti Nisreen on the other end, Mama's youngest sister, the only relative she has in the States, who lives 2 hours away in Kenosha, Wisconsin. Mama turns to Afaf with wide hazel eyes, two amber stones with flecks of green or gold, depending upon her mood. When she laughs, they are like tiny golden nuggets mined out of the earth. Fear and anger usually turn them green, the color they are now as Mama glares at Afaf. Their eyes only her brother Majid has inherited. Eyes Afaf covets every day she's surrounded by a sea of white skin and darting blue and green eyes at Nightingale Elementary School. She has Baba's hair, thick and wavy. "Yes, Mama?" Afaf stands as close to her mother as she bravely can. Mama scares her in a way she doesn't understand. Her mother is a beautiful woman who takes care of her and her siblings. She cooks every day. Afaf and Majid coming home to pots of makluba and pans of kufta, spices reaching them in the stairwell before they open the back door of the apartment. Before bedtime, she bathes Majid. Afaf is allowed to wash herself now and lays out clean clothes for the next day. But there are other days when they come home from school and find Mama in her bed, weeping. This lasts for a few days. On those nights, she hears Baba talking to Mama, his soft and consoling words muffled by her mother's sobs. Afaf moves carefully around Mama. She's like one of those floppy puppets at the carnival that you knock down with a ball. Afaf worries her mother might not get back up again from her bed. "Did Neda tell you where she was going after school?" her mother demands, placing her palm over the receiver, though Afaf is certain her aunt hears Mama's desperate plea. It hits Afaf. Her older sister has not come home yet. She and Majid had been distracted by their singing and jumping, hadn't paid attention to the creeping autumn dusk outside the apartment. Neda is required to be home before the street lights turn on, before their father comes home from the factory. No, Mama. She didn't say anything to me. They both look at 7-year-old Majid, a futile action. He shakes his head. Why would her 17-year-old sister tell her little brother, or Afaf, anything about her mysterious life outside their apartment? Afaf is 10 years old, patching together small pieces of her sister, the hours Neda spends smoothing down strands of her thick brown hair, fastening them with tortoiseshell barrettes, or the sly smile that creeps across her face when she reads a letter on torn-out notebook paper, folded and creased many times. The quilt Afaf has assembled of her sister isn't a whole person, only glimpses of a double life. Ya Rabbi, Mama bawls into the phone. Nisreen, where could she be? Her shoulders shake with sobbing, but Mama still listens and nods as her aunt says things Afaf can't hear. Mama tucks frizzy strands of hair behind her free ear. Gray ones sprout from the crown of her head. She is due for a touch-up. Every month at the kitchen table, Khalti Nasreen drapes a plastic cape around Mama's thin shoulders while her mother cradles a tiny cup of thick coffee spiced with cardamom in her palm. They laugh at their childhood antics in Palestine, and Khalti Nasreen shares tidbits of gossip about the other Arabi immigrants in her husband's circle, squeezing the plastic bottle of dye until the very last drop. Afaf understands a handful of Arabic words and sentences. Masari, money, frequently uttered. Bilad, the old country, tinged with longing. Ma'asalama, goodbye, at the end of long-distant phone calls, sometimes through choked tears. Thank you very much for giving me this space.